Hello and welcome to another edition of the Replimat, a chatcast where two nerds and associated others go through Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode by episode in chronological order. This week we are watching Season 2, Episode 23, Crossover. Teleplay by Peter Allen Fields and Michael Piller. Story by Peter Allen Fields. Directed by David Livingston, I presume. First broadcast May 16th, 1994. And according to Netflix, after experiencing operational difficulties while travelling through the wormhole, Kira and Bashir find themselves in an alternate universe. Now, the more discerning viewers amongst you may have noticed that on the screen at the moment are more than just Andy and myself, the usual suspects, because this week we're watching Crossover, and so we're having a crossover episode with the guys from the Measure of a Fan podcast. We have PJ, Matt, and Eliot with us. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you all? Excited?
For having us. We're so excited to be here.
Thanks.
Yeah, I
Very.
mean, you don't know what you've let yourselves in for having all three of us on at once, but
Yeah, well, Matt's
I do.
Matt's a newbie to us, isn't he? Because we've had PJ and Eliot before. So, Matt, have you got an idea of what you're letting yourself in for at all?
I have a broad idea of what's going to be going on. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, right. Well, and there's Andy's cat.
Yes,
Andy,
one
did
of
you want to
many.
say anything?
What are you doing?
Sorry. I don't know. Shall we?
No, I'm good. So
Yeah, I'm
we'll
sure
do
you
a
are.
free
Yeah.
count, shall we? Yeah, we'll do a free count for the viewers and so on.
For the viewers, yes, because it's a watch along. So yes, please feel free
Yeah, we
to
did
watch
actually say
along
that,
with
didn't
us at home.
Yes, we're doing a reaction video for a change. Get off me, thank
We
you.
are. So, Andy, did you want to say anything before we start?
No, other than obviously viewers, as you may have just found out, we are doing an actual reaction video, so you may want to key up your DVD/Netflix/ Paramount Plus, whatever it is you've got it on VHS, maybe. Who knows? And we'll count you in, or Tim will count you in. And
I will count us in.
chaos
No
will
way.
reign.
There's
Okay.
no way that a
Right, grasp
VHS
yourselves,
would
guys.
play at the same rate.
Okay, ready to go in
Guys,
3,
can you actually... I don't think you
2,
can hear me.
1.
Hello?
We can hear. One second, Tim. 1 second, Tim.
Sorry,
Elliot
Eliot.
speaking. We can hear.
Sorry, you're
Can
very
you guys
quiet.
actually hear me?
We
Yeah, I
can
know.
hear you
There's
in the
nothing I can
background,
do
but
about
when
it.
it's recorded, the sounds will level out. So
Yeah,
it'll
but
be all
everything
good.
I'm saying is getting lost.
It's getting lost. It's okay. Don't worry. Just shout. Or put your
We're
hand up when
subtitling.
you're talking. Just be like,
I don't
"Woo."
care enough to shout.
Are you sure the mic's on?
You wouldn't... What?
He has this
It's
problem.
fine.
at
If you've
home.
got something to say, just put your hand up and we'll shut up.
Yeah. All right, shall I count everyone in again?
Yeah. Okay. On 3, yeah?
On 3. Okay, so ready, everyone?
On 3. Okay.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Medical log supplemental. Major Kira and I are returning home after opening the hospital on New Dangerous, first Bajoran colony in the Gamma.
He's so well spoken, isn't he, Bashir?
Well, he is British.
Actually, I do. I was hoping to meditate for a few minutes.
Cool.
he was going to listen to thrash metal.
Yay.
The opportunity to study in meditation with Sam Hellower when I was at college, a remarkable fellow.
Shut up,
So
Bashir.
I can't tell you how much I learned from him. The man was a master.
He doesn't know.
You
Put
know,
headphones on, couldn't he? You know.
When I'd be more than interested in learning any Bajoran meditation techniques you might like to show me.
Shut up, Bashir.
Usually just
This
like
is so hard. I can hear one of your programs with my program, and it's slightly out of sync, and it's really hard to listen to.
Tim's off and out of sync with me as well, so it'll be fine.
An impression of a dog.
Yes. Isn't there another room in there that one of them could go to stop annoying the other one?
Yes.
What's your pleasure?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The whole
Theoretically.
Loads of
dining room.
stuff.
Join
But that
composers.
would ruin the plot.
Something by Thor Jonah.
True.
Well, yeah.
Since I arrived. Anyway, Thor strikes me as the best of the lot, really. They're slightly limited of the great Boldaric masters of the last century, but pleasantly diverting.
He's doing sci-fi talk again, isn't he?
I'm glad we're finally doing it.
What?
I know you love that.
Talking to one another. Finding common interests. Burying the hatchet.
Hatchet.
I hate both these people
Means
already.
We're finally putting past conflicts behind us.
Making way for brand new ones.
You know, these mercenaries.
Sure.
I am curious to know which of you is behind me on it. Because even though we're watching it from the same thing, apparently, someone's like a whole line behind me. It's quite weird. I have to hear Bashir talk twice.
I don't remember them ever not getting on.
No, I can
Don't
remember him
put
like
them together.
inappropriately flirting with her, but I think he's still doing that.
Oh yeah, can you imagine him flirting with Kira? Don't think so. She was poof, straight away.
My mistake.
I mean, luckily he can repair his own broken bones.
Yes.
Whoosh.
I feel like in a minute I should actually tilt my camera just to echo what's going to happen. Ooh, the wormhole opens upside down. Oh, subtle. It's on my shelf over there.
Like there.
It's like there.
Oh no.
Is that a bird of prey?
It's a Kvort class, I want to say.
It was a Tinga?
Yeah, because they've got this. I think the first time we saw this one would have been in Reunion Season 4 of Next Gen. Yeah. So it's still their new ship. See, them using this ship actually don't work because that design of ship is meant to signify the combined Federation Klingon tech, isn't it? The way its warp nacelles are. But of course, in this universe, there is no Federation, so they shouldn't have that ship. Tut, tut. Oh, hello. Ooh, who
You
am
can tell she's
I?
evil because of the black rubber.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She loves rubber.
I've just worked out how to reduce the
Normally
volume on my Netflix, which means that I can hopefully now hear what everyone else is saying. Because I could see the people were talking, but I couldn't hear what anyone was saying at all.
Yeah, I decreased my volume on Netflix too, so we can see, hopefully hear.
Same.
As I say, luckily when this is actually recorded, the sound levels, I've got this thing where you can just balance them out equally
Cool.
anyway, so in the meantime,
Just want to
we'll
make sure I'm
raise
not
our
making the
hand.
same points that anyone else is making.
That's okay. We can just pretend
David
we're in
and Andy,
class
how
and
do you
just put
feel
our
about
hands
the
up.
Deep Space Nine theme?
What do I think of it?
Yeah.
I don't dislike it. I think it's a bit slow, and obviously It's not very exciting. I like that it's just like with the next gen theme, it's just another interpretation of the original theme. I like that. I prefer it from season 4 onwards for obvious reasons, because then it's got a dun, 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 dun. It just helps. But yeah, I am very much one of these people, like I'm sure we all are, that when we get to this point, normally I go skip almost every time. Even in the
What about you, Tim?
VHS days, it'd be like fast forward and play.
I think it's dirgy and dreadful, and it makes me want to go and hang the washing out while it's playing. And it
Yeah.
just goes on and on forever.
It
So
reminds
the
me
only
of
thing I
like
can think that would make it worse is if they put words to it.
Yeah.
It's Deep Space Nine out there in space.
That's the
Like
one.
that.
It writes itself, yeah. I'm getting the feeling this is a good episode for Nana Visitor.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
She has fun.
I have not got a clue what is happening right now. It's like Fifth Element shit.
What you might find interesting, Tim, is this is not one of Andrew Robinson's favourite episodes.
Oh, okay.
Garrett.
Yeah.
There's less subtlety to Garrick, isn't this version? Isn't
Yeah,
there?
this is all-
It's all
yeah.
surface level.
That's what he's always said. What he likes about Garrick is just all subtext, and here there's none.
I'm getting distracted by Kira's walk at the moment. She's enjoying the struts and the stride.
Yeah,
I think it's fun if you get to play an alternative universe version of your own character.
Ooh.
He's just doing what we all wanted to.
Exactly.
Not
I
wrong.
don't get it. Why am I here? I don't get any of this.
Elliot, it will all become clear in a few years.
Oh God, yeah.
I
Of course, he
won't
hasn't even
care
seen the
even more by
prequel. This is good for Eliot. This is a sequel to an episode that he hasn't even seen yet. Brilliant. Sorry. I honestly didn't think of that. I did.
So, Elliot, what you need to realize is they're in an alternative universe, so all of the main characters you don't know are being different to how they would be in the universe that you haven't seen yet. So the no-nonsense Major Kira is getting to play
All
the
nonsense.
BDSM Major Kira.
Well, in fairness, Eliot has seen one episode of DS9, so he kind of met some of them already. And it wasn't that long ago contextually, so.
I think I barely retained anything from our podcast.
Eliot is the Kylo Ren of Star Trek podcasts.
I can, yeah. It's even got the lightsaber for it. Somewhere.
I think it's on one of his walls.
Actually,
I actually didn't call him James T. Kirk because nobody would ever say that, would they? Not in the real world.
So is this a sequel to an original series?
Yes, it is. It
Okay.
is. It is. See, normally I would have said to you, you should probably watch this episode first, but if I did that, straight away you'd know what's going on. And where's the fun in that? You'd be like, oh, I wonder if it's connected. But I don't think you need to watch Mirror Mirror to get this
Oh
story.
no, Kira's just told you what.
Other than this reference here, it's explained
Okay.
there. That's all you need to know.
The weird thing, because of
I think
the
I might have
strange
Mirror
time
Mirror on
vagaries
one
of
of
our
those-
podcast,
Fan collective sets.
You were saying, Matt, sorry?
sorry, yeah, due to the weird setup of our podcast, Eliot actually hasn't even seen the Enterprise Mirror Universe
Of
episode
course.
yet,
Good God, yes.
so he has no
didn't know
idea
there
about the
was
Mirror
one.
Universe.
Yeah, because
Fuck.
Patrick, in his infinite wisdom, said, no, you're not watching the Mirror episodes of our show until we watch Mirror Mirror, I assume?
No,
Oh,
no, I'm not
Discovery.
revealing where we're going to fit them in, but there is a place.
I'm guessing somewhere in Discovery?
No.
Oh, I think I know where. Folium Web.
There's an element from the prime timeline in those episodes that we will follow into them. So
Yeah, Tholian. Got it. That's insane.
Yeah.
It makes that.
so
God, imagine watching
way
Star Trek in that order the first time.
who would do that?
Yeah, who
What
would do that to their brother?
yeah, as if I'm not over it by now. So, in this, are they implying that the logic of in-universe evil doppelganger universes is that their timeline continues onwards and the same opposite evil people are born because Kirk went and met his opposite Kirk, and now they're saying 100 years ago Kirk met his opposite Kirk.
Yeah.
And then we are here now.
Yeah.
Today. So that means that despite events being completely different, the same people are always born and look exactly
Yes.
the same and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like-
Some people
It's like-
still have sex, but everything else is different.
Yeah, all the sex is identical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At the exact same time.
Somehow. Yeah, any actual alternate reality logic is out of the window when it comes to the mirror universe. It's all pure coincidence that all these things just happen to be in the right places at the right time. It gets worse later or previously, depending on which order you're watching it in.
I hate it when they bring up the Kardashians.
I may be mistaken. Pardon me. But I'm sure it's in this episode. There's a Klingon
There
thing
you go
later.
again, bringing out those Kardashians.
And they were going to have Michael Dorn play the alternate Worf vocally over the time when the Klingons were attacking or something or other. But obviously they didn't go for it, which is a shame because that would have made really wonderful sense in context now. That would make no sense to Eliot at all. I apologise.
I mean, yeah.
I don't think Eliot cares.
Fair.
He's here under duress.
Isn't that the entire precis of Measure of Fan anyway?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, one day I think we'll have to invite a guest onto this podcast of somebody who really hates Star Trek and make them watch an episode with us, just so we can have the Eliot factor. Because, it seems entertaining.
Nothing's going to make someone who doesn't watch Star Trek hate Star Trek more than sitting and listening with a bunch of guys talking about Star Trek, watching Star Trek, talking about stuff he doesn't get. I speak from experience.
I really enjoyed Odo's look then of, I probably should have been paying attention to that conversation.
What's going on? Bro, they've moved.
See, if this was a modern episode of Star Trek, that Klingon woman behind them would probably be a Jura's sister just for the fans. And for no other reason. Quark looks very odd because he's got no collar. Because he's usually got some collar on one of his jumpers, isn't he?
Looks like he just got out of the bath.
Seeing his neck fully looks... Yeah.
The Alliance has outlawed collars.
Yes. No collars unless you're the intendant.
And those are very
shoulder
specific
pads.
collars.
Yeah.
Shoulder pads for days, though.
All these plot points getting given away. So, Patrick, when Strange New World inevitably does their crossover mirror episode, because obviously they're going to do one at some point, are you going to skip that too? Just because?
It depends on how they do it.
Okay, then. Are you going to skip all the ones on another show that I can't mention because I don't want to give it away?
No.
No, you knew what? Okay.
Because prime timeline elements go into it, so we're going to follow that.
Okay,
The only ones we're sort of watching for the Mirror Universe out of sequence are those two Enterprise ones.
Because they're set entirely within, even though they're prequels to it all.
Yeah.
Perfect logic.
This is very pound shop Casablanca stuff going on here. I don't stick out my neck for no one.
Don't touch his ears, please. Oh God, I forgot. Scenery chewing Brooks.
I love it when Avery Brooks chews the scenery, though. It's
So often.
so over the top that, Shatner could take lessons from him, and it's
my
great.
yes.
Everyone's having a naan bread.
We have differing definitions of great.
That's a stretch. I think even Eliot remembers how much they didn't get on last time we watched it.
This is just so dull. It's not particularly its fault right now. This is just shit I've seen a million times elsewhere. Especially at this point in time.
Moved on quickly about on the marriage there. Didn't mention the wife's name or anything. Just
Yeah.
For a change. I think in Bashir's world, Keiko doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I get that.
it's it's just like back in the other
That
universe.
could have been Argo Brian quite easily. Speaking of collars, Odo's got a collar now. The traditional collar, I mean, not the collar.
Yeah, but because it's in black, it makes him look more fascist.
True.
What I hate about this kind of thing is when a group of theatre people pretend to be thugs, they just look more like a group of theatre people.
They look like extras from Starlight Express.
Yeah, they do.
I honestly assumed that guy was an alien, but he's just had an eye out, hasn't he?
He reminds me of the Marauders from what's it called? The Defector, not the Defector. Yeah, was it the Defector? The one with the tribes. One of my favorite episodes. I can't remember a single name from it. What do they call themselves? Season 3, Next Gen. The Trillesters and Utah.
Was he just licking a phaser? Oh no. What is that? Oh, it's a knife. Okay.
Bathing in milk. She'll be telling us she has a poisonous asp next.
Sure, she has. I imagine when Kira returns home, and obviously they'll give their official report. The amount of questions that people like Cisco and that would have about their counterparts would be endless. They'd be like, okay, enough already.
It's like, am I there? No. I just say no. There isn't one of you. No. To
Yeah,
everyone.
nope. They're very
No, I
good.
don't. I fear this like weird rubber wearing Cleopatra monster that you are.
That's good.
They're getting very good at the split screen stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Gotta say also that Garrick looks really good in the actual Cardassian uniform.
He does. I'm really liking Garrick's performance in this episode.
You like it, Arch. Send it up, send it up. Bigger, bigger, bigger.
Lol.
It's called All an X about you now.
Oh, good God! I just remember. No, just remember what's coming up. Is it in this one? Actually, maybe not. I was just thinking Dax, but I don't think she's in this one, is she?
No, I think she's in
Yeah.
later.
Because I was just thinking of a slap, and that's like, no, that's not on the station. Yeah. Are you drinking blood there, Matt?
It's blood wine.
Nice. It did look like it for a second then. It's like, that's very red. Or whatever. Well, this version of Garrick has no interest in Bashir, does he?
Ooh,
Sneaky.
Very sneaky.
what a dilemma.
Look at that big trucks full of ore. Like nobody's found a better way.
See, this is actually something that me and Tim have mentioned before, and I think when we did Necessary Evil, when they went back to when it was an ore processing plant, and we had this discussion of the impracticality of having a space station mining ore from the planet.
Yeah.
Like, where's the the manpower in just getting it back and forth to the planet, which must have taken hours and hours? It just seems so nonsensical.
Yeah, even if they transport it, it's got to be using a lot more energy than just putting
Yeah.
the oil processor on the planet.
Exactly. Because I don't think it was
See,
until
I've been
go on.
I've been reading my son a lot of Thomas the Tank Engine lately, so the trucks are just making me think of the trucks in that, pushing Percy off a pier.
Were the trucks in
There's-
Thomas the Tank Engine troublesome, or were they just working class?
I mean, the working class are troublesome, aren't they, Matt?
That's Patrick saying that, by the way, not me. I fundamentally disagree with Patrick's appraisal of the working class.
Yes, we are. So, if the trucks remind you of Thomas the Tank Engine, who on the station is the Fat Controller?
Garrick?
I was thinking that, yeah.
Surely be Odo. He's kind of humorless.
Hmm.
And he also tortures people like the Fat Controller tortures trains.
I think Odo might be Gordon the Big Engine, because he's the grumpy one.
Was there a bisexual and also into herself controller that Kira could have been? I don't think they covered that on Thomas the Tank.
Percy, maybe? It sounds like somebody might be.
Did he pronounce it Terrans?
Yeah. It's a bit like how in the 80s and early 90s they used to call stasis.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, no. Or temporal as temporal. You're like, it's not chicken. What?
Yeah, it's not like a light batter.
Not yet.
No, she's got to him.
Eliot, you look very captivated by this episode.
Oh, is there 11 minutes left?
It's only 11 minutes. Gosh. See, I played around with my sound control so I can actually hear Eliot now. So we can respond. Ooh, the House of Duras. Easter egg. Actual Easter egg as opposed to in-your-face Easter egg.
Eliot, you know the House of Duras. They were on Enterprise.
They were.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're talking about all the Klingons on Enterprise that were dumbasses and couldn't tell left from right.
Yeah, that's the House of Duras.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, nothing changes.
That was every Klingon I ever saw on Enterprise.
And of course, the Discovery Klingons we won't mention.
What, they're identical to these guys? What?
They
I
are,
can't tell the difference.
I can't wait to be invited on an episode where you have the Klingons in it. I have so much to say about them. So,
What? I'm seeing double. 4 Kiras.
all Kiras.
Who's the mood flautist?
It's one of those
Is it
like
all-
80s flutes, yeah, the late 80s on dance tracks.
This has gone all very Black Orchid.
Oh,
Nice.
you milkshaked him.
Made a mess of Odo.
Or did I just miss Odo getting exploded? Sorry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was typing, so I missed that. I just heard something go,
Oh.
oh, there goes Odo.
That was great.
More like, oh no. Sorry, that was really crap.
Oh, splat.
Me. Yep. I dropped my ring.
They wouldn't be called runabout pads there.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in this that still haven't Interesting choice. Sorry, distracted by our chat now. No, they wouldn't. There's a lot of things in this episode that, like the Klingon ship, hasn't really been thought about very clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a chance here, for instance, to actually make it something other than an ore processing plant. You know, so a bit more logical as well.
Let's just stand around.
It's a starter thing. Just said. Well, that's sort of uncouth, isn't it? For all the things to do to them. Still, I mean, murdering them's got to be better than sleeping with your alternate self, right? Which is what she wants to do.
I wouldn't sleep with my alternate self.
Kira apparently would. And Garrick absolutely would. Or Terrans, as Cisco would say. It also seems to me, bearing in mind the so-called layout of this universe, that to bring Terrans away from Earth seems awfully cost prohibitive as well for what they're doing.
Yeah, they'd be a long way away.
Yeah, especially as the Empire fell so badly. Apparently, it just seems very especially 100 years later, it seems very odd to do. That's what I like about the mirror episodes is there's no logic at all. It's just an excuse just to do the most absurd things you can with the characters.
Yeah. Hey, we want to blow up Odo. How do we do that? Mirror!
And that conceit certainly gets worse as they go along, or better depending on how you enjoy them or not. I always feel it's a shame that TNG never did one, because that could have been entertaining. Marina would have totally thrown herself into that. Oh my! Can you imagine?
Yeah.
What alternate Troy would be like? She would be a dominatrix as well. She would be terrible.
His gun looks like the Nez blaster from Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
I just agree because I don't know what
Cisco's a
that is.
hero. With a smile on his face.
So you close the door, you shoot the ceiling.
Yeah, so I'll close my doors. Shit, I don't know.
Nobody thought to lock that down.
Yeah, I believe this is where they intended it to be Worf. Which they should have gone for, I reckon.
'90s effect.
And just like that. Oh, Dax is in this episode. Just. How would she know this? Is she red?
Did you stop off at a sexy party?
Okay.
So Lewis Carroll was on Bajor.
So that was the episode. Let's talk. What do we think, people?
I want Eliot to go first.
Yes.
I'll have the least to say.
I might as well get out of the way first then.
You say that. The last time we
What
was
could I
there for like an
possibly
hour.
gather? What could I possibly absorb and enjoy out of this? Like
Kira?
Kira's walk.
no,
Right, the intendant then.
90s as fuck.
To be fair, I don't think Eliot was even quite... What was the date on the episode?
94?
94.
Yeah. Eliot may not have even been one yet.
Oh, wow. Maybe she feels
It's
so
like, I
old.
think you have to understand, these people are not classically and universally super attractive. You can't just say a vaguely pretty woman that's on screen is going to be as good entertainment as anything else nowadays.
Can?
I mean,
And they're not even that hot. Like, they're not. They're just not. I don't know what people were going crazy about in the 90s. They're not that hot.
there's a lot less to do.
Well. All right, Tim. What did you think of the episode as the person who's not seen it before, other than Eliot?
Did you think they were all hot, or
not?
Sorry, what was that about being hot? Did I think Kira was hot, or
or not?
Or not? Well,
or the women of the 90s.
I remember thinking they were quite hot at the time. Not necessarily
Not
Star
women
Trek,
in their
but
90s.
generally women in 1994 when this was on. I did enjoy. I enjoyed the way that Kira or Nana Visitor it was obviously enjoying sort of vamping it up, playing her evil alter ego. I did really enjoy the episode. I can't decide whether I think it's a cop out or not that they managed to get back the same way they got there, or because it seemed like they didn't have any control over the situation getting there, but they were able to replicate the out of control situation going back to to get back at the end.
Do you think it's a cop out now? Wait until later Mirror episodes. Oh my!
Right,
it's like hopping on a bus.
Well, I suppose they
the
thing about them having done it that way and having had presumably now some record of how they did it and some control over that kind of opens the door, I suppose, to more of these. I do the original series episode. I'm aware of. I will have seen it donkey's years back. I don't remember details about it particularly, but
that's the one.
I do remember having seen
Goatee Spock.
Right, Goatee Spock. Yes.
Actually, that is a point.
And
they
overall,
missed the old, having somebody with a goatee in this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, Odo should have had it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Quark with a beard with a bit of
like.
Oh yes.
Do you feel right have hair?
No.
Well, I suppose in the Mirror universe, why not?
We've got luscious
really
mullets and goatees
syrup
for Ferengi in the Mirror universe.
And a big bright coming down like some Luxem.
That would have been funny.
You'd look a bit like a small version of Dargo from Farscape.
Yeah.
But overall, I did really enjoy that episode, and obviously, it's these things are always a good opportunity or a sort of fun opportunity for the cast involved to kind of let their hair down a bit and just do play sort of evil alter egos of themselves or like exaggerated versions of themselves, the stuff that they don't normally get to do in their in the regular series. So and there's always a certain sort of frisson, I think, to the performances. Although interesting what you said at the beginning about the actor that plays Garak not enjoying this episode as much.
Can I just say one thing?
Obviously not.
Can I just say one thing
Yes,
before
you
you
can.
continue, Tim?
Yes,
This is not my cat.
that's not your cat.
It's a mirror cat.
It's, I don't even know where. It's from up there somewhere. But she comes here pretty much every day. She is the daughter of my cat, so maybe that's why. But anyway, sorry.
Yes.
You were saying Garak.
Yeah, Gareth. I particularly enjoyed Garak in this episode, being like a kind of being a proper Cardassian for a change, as it were. And it's interesting where you said that the actor didn't enjoy this episode as much as others. So, but yeah, I just overall it was fun. It's always nice to see Bashir taken down a peg or two. So he's been better recently, but he was back to his really sort of dislikable old self at the beginning of that episode, where clearly just doesn't read the room at all. Doesn't pick up on, for a doctor, not to pick up on like body language and and very unsubtle references from those he's with. It's just he's so kind of narrow-minded and like 20/20 vision. It doesn't. He really doesn't pick up on subtle hints. So, yeah, that was
true.
That was my thinking.
True.
So
that's your thinking, Matt, as our newest guest, and I believe you would have seen this before because Matt is a bit of a Trekkie as well.
So yeah, I've seen this episode before, and I will level with you. Every series of Star Trek that does have mirror universe episodes has one good mirror universe episode, except for Discovery, which has none. And this is not one of those episodes. I think it is. It was kind of. It seems ill thought out. I mean, I will admit, Eliot has somewhat radicalized me to lazy Star Trek decisions over the last few years. But there were a couple of like nuggets in there that were interesting. Like I said, there were a couple of like weird little Casablanca references in there, and I think that they could have pushed that maybe a bit further. What with like obviously we hadn't seen the station under occupation yet. This was kind of that moment to see that. I thought that by modern standards, the Intendant is a lazy character. Kira, I can see why they went with Kira because she's a very sort of upstanding, straight character in the real world, and also obviously because I was from the 90s, I do appreciate that Nona Vista is hot. But yeah, so they kind of I can see why they went there, why they pushed that character as the person that they would do that with. But at the same time, there's just too much disconnect in there. They were trying to push too much through, and it just didn't really gel. I really, really enjoyed seeing Odo explode. Fantastic, 10 out of 10. I would watch that happen again. But yeah, it certainly wasn't for me. There were too much in there. It was a bit of a turducken. Like they were stuffing the Cardassians and the Bajorans into that. They were stuffing the Klingons in there as well. I think again making Kira the Intendant, although I can tell totally why they did it, didn't kind of gel with the fact that this is supposed to be a Cardassio Klingono alliance thing going on.
Her being in charge, as it were, doesn't actually scan with the whole.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's them two, isn't it? It's the Cardassians, Klingons.
It's
Bajor.
just very horny 90s writing from a bunch of very weird, horny 90s people that used to run Star Trek back in the day. It's not a great episode as an introduction to Deep Space Nine as well, for Eliot's sake. I suppose he has watched at least one other episode because that
one wasn't a good introduction either.
What was that one? That was what one did we make you watch, Eliot?
Cisco takes a late night stroll along the promenade on the anniversary of his wife's death.
Which episode was this?
That was the that was a Netflix description of the episode. I had completely forgotten about that. Oh my god, that seems like a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Wow, that was
Second Sight.
That's the one. Thank you.
I made note of it because we need to get a guest on who hasn't seen that episode now when we reach it.
Yeah, eventually reach it, yeah. That's the one where Cisco obviously takes his late night stroll, meets, I can't remember, there's that alien woman who's actually the wife of this dude who's crook.
Let's not reminisce.
Is it a bottle episode? It sounds like a bottle episode.
Pretty much.
It's a pretty rubbish episode.
Yeah.
So when you get to it again or think about it, you'll be like, oh god, that one.
So anyway, in conclusion, there were a couple of fun things that happened, but I am surprised they managed to get a relatively decent storyline out of the Deep Space Nine Mirror Universe episodes, which they did, I think, by the end from this beginning, because it was weird and ill thought out and was 100% reliant on the fact that the writers would think that Kira was sexy as a BDSM station commander.
I think that's quite fair. Patrick, go on.
I quite like this episode. I
I didn't
don't.
want to say that.
It's not a favourite by any stretch. I don't think it's amazing, but I love Mirror Mirror, and as a sequel to Mirror Mirror, which Trek hadn't done at this point, I quite enjoy it just as a bit of silliness in the Mirror Mirror vein. I do agree with Matt that not all of it makes sense, and some of these characterizations are just weird for the sake of being weird. And I do kind of resent it because it was a slippery slope then to Star Trek doing lots of Mirror Universe episodes, none of which were necessary. But taken on its own terms as its own thing, kind of fun. And I don't really have a lot else to say about it, except in terms of the hot characters on Deep Space Nine, I'm more of a Dax man.
Same.
Well, that'll be coming up eventually. I'm kind of a mixture of all of you, to be fair. I like it. I think it's fun. It makes no sense. There's as you say, the choices were very lazy and very obvious, and there's very little logic in the alternate world they've built there. But it's entertaining. It's a fun watch. Is it the best Mirror Universe episode? Probably not. But I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Mirror Mirror, to be fair. But I don't know. I think I would have had more fun with this had it been a next gen Mirror episode, because I think they could have so much fun with those characters. Especially at this
IDW
point
had fun with them in the
series.
comics. They did a next gen Mirror
comics they did.
series that was a lot of fun.
And there was a book as
Mirror
well.
Barkley was great.
There was also a Dark Mirror book by, I think, Michael Jan Friedman in the 90s as well, I think it was. So they've done it in various media, but never on TV, which is a real shame. Because this would have been season 7, so at this point the characters are so established, they could really gone for it. Like, really, really gone for it. Whereas this in DS9, it's only 2 years in, so I think if this had been much later in DS9's run, then it might be more enjoyable because they could really have pushed the envelope. Where here, the choices just, as you say, feel lazy now because
this is actually a really good point, and this is something that Star Trek is guilty of time and time again. Is it gets you kind of used to a set of characters, and then goes, "What if it was different?" Like making, is it the Naked Now? The second to third episode of Next Generation.
Yes.
Like, we don't know anybody. Why are you changing?
Yeah, literally episode 2.
So I think that later in the run would be better. I think that Star Trek should have established from the very beginning that you're allowed to have 2 mirror episodes max, and you can't have the second one if the first one gets lower than 3 on the general star ratings of that particular episode, because nobody cares.
And you can't do that until at least the 3rd season when you've established properly who people are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Embed
So you
these
know who's
characters
going to look
first.
best with a goatee.
Yeah,
that's fair
for
enough.
sure.
I mean, what I would say about this episode is that it was really interesting seeing the station not kind of with a variation on the like the Cardassian occupancy, although obviously having some this a lot was the alliance was between the Cardassians, the Klingons, and the Bajorans, presumably. I don't remember whether that was stipulated,
sure how
but
the Bajorans fit into it.
No, they
I think they sort of invaded Bajor, and I guess Kira's a collaborator or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess that makes sense because she's the only Bajoran we really see, isn't she, in this entire run? So,
but that thing we usually do about thinking about whether or not an episode would have worked as a next gen episode, I suppose we've already established that the concept obviously would, but I still think there was more of an interest in doing that here with DS9 and having an alternative version of the space station to investigate, and obviously spending all of that effort to get all of the ore up from all the rocks up from the planet to refine the ore to send it all back down again, or wherever else it goes afterwards.
It's just makes no sense. I think actually, just on that point, I think the reason why this maybe not doesn't work for me is less interesting is because in terms of the layer of DS9 in this alternate reality, it's not that dissimilar to what we saw in Necessary Evil when they went back. Who went back? Somebody went back. Or what time? Or was it just a telling of the story? Whatever it was. But when we got to see DS9 during the occupation, it's not dissimilar to what we see here. So it feels to me
That's
a bit,
true.
oh, we've been there already.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's why I think,
They turn
again, like you said
they
about
turn the light
laziness,
down,
is
don't
that
they?
they could have done something more interesting.
Yeah.
Turn the light
Yeah.
down, make it
Fair enough.
grimy. But yeah, I think they could have done more with what could we do different with the station, as opposed to what could we do different that we've already done already.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is
But-
done.
It is. Yeah. And I do think it's right. They should have given someone a beard.
Yes. It's only talking about this that it suddenly occurred to me. It's like, yeah, why haven't, because when did that become an actual thing then, other than obviously Spock had one, but when did that become a standard of TV fantasy with the evil doppelganger beard thing?
I think it
I think
probably,
Spock was the
it
start of
may
it
have
because it
been
was so
Yeah,
iconic when Spock did
Yeah.
it, and then
I think it's like a Simpsons thing, probably, isn't it? That's where
well, I know in the
imagine it entered
'90s,
pop culture.
South Park did an alternate reality episode where all
Yeah.
the kids had goatees.
Okay.
Yeah.
it's got to
Futurama
come
have
from that
certainly
Star Trek
done it.
episode.
Yeah,
Did Stargate do it?
I think.
Oops. Tim vanished. He'll be back. This does happen. People drop out. They come back again. I know you guys have that issue occasionally as well, which is always fun.
Is that me dropping out?
But did Stargate do the old goatee thing as well?
I
know they've
can't
done
remember.
quite a few
I
alternates. Not a thing.
never got around to watching all of Stargate, so
In fairness, there's a lot of it, and it's not
yeah.
Doctor Who didn't.
great. Not great.
But
Well, I guess we'll wait for Tim to resurface. I'm sure he will.
am I not back yet?
That's some.
Am I
Any
not
other
back yet?
thoughts? Oops. Don't tell me Matt's going as well now.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Just pressing buttons.
Can you not hear me at all?
No! Dropping like flies. Any more thoughts, Eliot?
You really want to hear him?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Elliot's had a lovely
Yeah,
time
really
this
know
afternoon.
Your answer.
Don't worry, Eliot.
no.
When we invite you to
Nothing
season
fucking
3,
happened.
you forgot what happened. Oops, I got dinged by Tim. This will be Tim saying, I can't get back on. Oh, apparently he's there, but we can't hear him. It's like, no,
Yeah.
he's not there. Can
I'm
anybody
here.
see him?
No,
No.
I don't have him.
No.
Nope.
You're not there at all.
Maybe he's joined the Mirror Replimat.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I'll ask him, are you on the mirror?
Do any of us have goatees on the one he's on?
Yeah, we are the mirror Replimat.
Actually,
I
yeah.
was just going to say, this would be the mirror one.
Yes, we are. Hang on, do
I
that.
actually nearly shaved my beard today, but my charger, my beard shaver was not charged.
Yeah. I'm not shaving my beard ever. Did that once many years ago. Not a look for me. No,
I'm
sir.
actually growing mine at the moment, so I'm not having a goatee anymore. I'm going full.
Full beard's good. It accents
Yeah.
the jawline, you know.
It
good.
feels more dad. So
Hmm.
then when I'm in my 50s and a lot greyer, I'll probably go back down to goatee, but it'll become thicker.
Eliot, I promise you, on season 3, when we invite you back for another episode on your own, it will be a really exciting episode. Honest.
Well,
I don't think you can promise that, Andy.
Well, it's going to be exciting because I've told I've already told Patrick. Sorry.
There he
Oh,
is.
here comes Tim. Here comes Tim. I've hello.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, this is,
Jeez, Tim's loud.
that was weird.
I've got Tim back down again. He is really loud.
Yeah.
There you
Sorry, that was
go.
weird. I could hear everything that was going on. I could see me with everyone else, but obviously you couldn't see or hear me. So very strange.
No,
creepy.
you just literally went. Poof. You went like Odo. You got
Yeah.
Odo'd.
I did. How messy.
And why not? And why not?
Yes.
Yes, and Tim, have you shaved your face?
No, not
like
recently.
in between
well,
disappearing.
not everywhere. I gave it a trim yesterday.
Oh, it looks like there's no facial hair on your chin. Oh, okay, because we're doing the whole goatee
Oh, right.
thing,
No,
and
it's just
we realise we've all got beards again.
It's just terrible lighting. Yeah, what I was going to say before when I cut out was when obviously when Doctor Who did the alternate universe thing with or alternative universe thing with Inferno.
Oh, good God, yes.
I suppose the difference there was the Brigadier lost his moustache and had an eye patch.
Oh yeah, they shaved the Brigadier, didn't they?
They did. They
just didn't.
all over
They
his
just
body.
didn't stick his Brigadier. His Brigadier. They didn't stick his moustache on. So and they gave Liz Shaw different colour hair
on his lip. Yeah.
So yeah.
And that literally was it.
Other than that, that was it. Yeah. They didn't give Benton a beard. So yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Seriously, it was.
But I suppose, given the brigade leader as he was, no moustache and an eye patch, I suppose, is kind of the equivalent of giving Spock a beard in Mirror Mirror, isn't it? So it's still kind of it's making sure that someone has some kind of different or a notable character has some kind of physical differentiation to set them apart from their real universe itself.
Excuse me.
That didn't happen at
all.
In
alternate realities, it's either beard or scar. Say that again. Sorry.
Who spoke?
Nope.
Patrick never lets us burp on the podcast. It's not fair.
No, I do. I just edit it out.
See, mine's good because of the software I use. Any background sound like burps, unless I'm literally like that, just disappears anyway. So it's quite useful.
So if you want to burp, get right up to the mic.
Yeah, if you want people to hear you, need to be there. If I burp here, it'll just disappear.
The software we use turns burps into bad jokes, and that's our excuse.
You burp a lot, hey.
That's right. Sorry, it turns burps into subpar comedy, doesn't it? Specifically, so we try and balance it out, but sometimes the editing gets we can't control it. So it's
to be honest, all we do is show up and burp into a microphone, and then that's what gets spat out. So.
And whatever comes out comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of explains the quality, doesn't it?
Our podcast is good, and people who haven't listened to it should do so.
Yes. By the way. When is the next episode?
I don't know. When I finish editing.
Oh, you actually recorded the next one then?
We have, yeah. But,
okay, that's good. You're up to where again? Like episode 4?
We've just recorded Lethe, which is episode... Pauses to open spreadsheet.
6? 5?
Season 1 of Discovery.
Something like that.
Episode 5. We just record. Nope.
Nope.
Yes.
Yes.
Nope. Yes.
Nope. Mm-hmm.
Episode 5.
Are we sure?
No.
Higher, lower, higher, lower.
Hang on. Those are short treks. 6. Episode 6.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. The last one you guys released was the Harry Mudd one?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That was... Well, I'm not going to mention that because we're not talking about that.
Why do you guys put
Struggle
yourselves
do that
through
with us
this?
on The Measure of a Fan.
It was one of those, for Tim's sake, it's one of those episodes as a prequel where they have a character in it that's from the original series,
Right.
having him 8 years earlier, but being absolutely nothing at all like the actual character they had in TOS, other than the name. And
Right,
that, of
okay.
course, was enough for quite a lot of fans. Whereas I'm like, you could at least made him similar somehow.
Yeah, like Simon Pegg as Scotty, says Matt controversially.
No, I agree with you there. I absolutely agree. Who is that guy? Who is that
So
guy?
bad.
It's like having Dan and
So,
Mogart as Dr.
As
McCoy.
usual, with my experience, I don't have anything to go off, so I just didn't care.
Also,
Which,
Eliot's only Scotty is Simon Pegg at the moment.
oh wow.
So I don't care.
Don't worry, the
The
future
irony
will force
is-
you to care.
The irony is for Eliot again is obviously as we know with Spock he's going to be introduced to I suppose he'll have known he's going to know two different Spocks before he gets to proper Nimoy, isn't he? Other than
Oh, he's already met Nimoy because we did the cage.
yeah, other than
I
the
mean,
cage.
sort of.
Yeah, that's not it's not much Spock there, is it really? The women. God. But I was going to say with Scotty again, he will before we actually get to real Scotty, there'll be two Scotties that Eliot would have met. Where are you putting the Star Trek Kelvin films actually in the timeline?
They are
Same place as
going.
my shelf, which would be post Nemesis.
Yeah, because we're following Prime
Because-
Spock into them. So
Okay, cool. That would make a lot more sense. Thank God.
I think after
that's
Luckily,
Nemesis
the
and
death of the universe will probably come first, so we'll never have to watch them.
I have to admit, I do wonder when I listen. It's like, I wonder if you guys would actually get to the end. Well, whatever the end is at that point. If Star Trek died by
on my spreadsheet, those movies actually come after Prodigy and before Picard.
Yeah, because Prodigy is before Lower Decks, correct? I'm sure it is, timeline-wise.
They're within a couple
Is
of
it?
years
Are
of
you
each
sure?
other, but Prodigy's
Yeah.
I've checked the star dates.
I would check on my shelf, but it's around the corner, so I can't see it. Star dates. Elliot's not really gonna go sleep now. He's like, I don't know what the fuck they're on about anymore.
He's died.
You still with us, Elliot?
I don't know how many hours of my life I've spent sitting here listening to people talk about fucking Star Trek. Yeah.
And you still are not on board with it. This is not going to end well.
What do you mean not on board? This has been a mission to specifically put me off Star Trek. That's what I thought. Has it not been? Because it seems like it's been fucking sniper pinpoint aimed to make me hate everything.
Oh, you already
But you
hated
don't like-
everything.
Yeah.
But I got the impression you weren't completely against Discovery.
I'm not completely against it, but and this is no fault of my brother's either, but the amount of time between episodes has made it completely impossible to be invested.
To be fair,
It's my baby's
at the
fault.
moment.
Yeah.
So it's like,
to be fair though.
yeah. So I just, it's not that I hate Discovery. I just don't care.
Well, to be fair, I think like quite a lot of people, if you were watching it regularly, I don't think you'd care that much anyway. First season is very hard to care about.
I'd probably still be disappointed. Not much happens in Star Trek in general. Like,
It gets better. Honest.
I doubt it. No, I just don't believe you. People have been saying that to me for like 4 years. So sorry, Andy, but
I think the main problem, I don't know, again, it's all perspective, I suppose, but a lot of the stories that the prequel shows tell are echoes, or often lesser echoes, or stories that are already told within Star Trek. But from your point of view, they're coming first, which to me makes it interesting to be when you get to the actual first telling of these stories that are actually better, will they be worse for you? Because you're like, we've done this already.
How can they be
So it's-
worse?
Yeah.
You watched Enterprise.
Well, yeah, I mean, Enterprise retold a lot of TNG, Voyager, and whatever beats. So Or maybe it'll make it better because then you're like, finally they've done it properly. Only first. Oh,
We
you
will
really did
see.
set him up to fail, didn't you? You really did.
I'm not sure you're going to enjoy any of it, Elliot.
But on the plus side, it's entertaining for us.
Me neither. Yeah.
Isn't that the real goal? I
Yeah,
torture
it's
Elliot
entertaining,
for your
much.
entertainment.
Bring it
The
on.
friends we made was the Eliot we tortured
okay.
along the way.
Tim, I honestly tell you now, you need to, when you have your lunch breaks or whatever, pop on the Measure of Fan. What, 4 seasons, 5 seasons, I guess, 4 and a bit.
We're on our 5th season at the moment.
Yeah. So, and obviously, Enterprise isn't overly long. You should just, even if you don't know the episodes, it's worth listening to anyway because it's just for Elliot's pain, really. Elliot's face.
My favorite moment, my favorite moment, entire podcast. I think it was
Elliot, when Patrick says, "That's all,
I can't
folks."
remember what I said. I can't remember what it was I said, but it was one of the Andys that I changed their mind about an episode they
That might
liked,
have been me.
and made
I think that was
dislike it
me.
because I pointed out how it was extremely flawed and not
I
entertaining.
think that was just me generally about
and
Enterprise.
specifically why.
Because I used to quite like Enterprise, whereas now, like, I'm doing the watch through of the entire Star Trek for fun, and I've got to Voyager. I want to just start season 4, mid-ish, where I think, and I've stalled because this is the point where Voyager gets like, basically TNG and everything's gone, so there's nothing to do now.
I think I need to make a quick exit because my online shop's arrived early. I'm really sorry.
Okay, we'll carry on. It's all fun.
Thanks, guys. That was fun. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us, BJ.
Bye,
Take care.
Patrick.
Bye, bro.
What was I saying?
You're saying bye-bye,
I forgot.
Patrick, which
This
is kind of the
happens
end of
when
that
you
bit.
become age. What was I saying? None of us know. None of us know. What was it? Oh yeah, no, I said about Enterprise. Yeah. So I stored on Voyager, and I was going to watch Enterprise sort of in between, just for variety. But thank you, Elliot. But literally, I'm like, I look at Enterprise. I watched the first episode, and I'm like, I just can't be asked to watch the rest of it, and that's absolutely Elliot's fault. So, job done.
I mean, honestly, I'm proud. It's the one thing I'm proud of and I'm glad about in this podcast, and I will attempt to educate people as much as I can with. If I'm going to be forced to sit here and watch Star Trek, then I'm going to make sure that people know exactly what it's like to be sat down and forced to watch Star Trek.
So I'm glad that Tim, for the most part, is enjoying Deep Space Nine, so I don't feel as bad.
But there's no way I would want to sit down and watch all of it, either in
or the entirety of Star Trek,
chronological order or series order or anything. So yeah, I have to.
If I had
my
made
hat
that
off to you,
mission,
Elliot.
then I would have done it in release order.
Fair enough.
I appreciate that, but you don't have to. Not a noble cause.
Yeah, it doesn't make it any better for him. Brilliant. All right, I think that's us pretty much talked out about because we seem to be talking about anything but the episode now. Unless anybody's got anything else they want to say before we...
I feel I've said everything.
Okay, you said everything. All right. Tim, your wrap up today, mate.
Okay, well, yes, so there we are. That was Crossover. Thank you to the guys from the Measure of a Fan podcast for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
And everyone at home, that's you, viewer, and you, listener. Please do make sure you check out the Measure of a Fan podcast. I'm assuming the podcast can be found in all the usual places where people get their podcasts. Is that correct? Yes.
You keep cutting out. What did you assume?
Do I? Oh, I was assuming that the Measure of a Fan podcast can be found in all the usual places where people get their podcasts. That's true.
Indeed.
Fabulous.
There you
Okay.
go.
So,
Voice has
yes,
spoken.
until next time on the Replimat, when we will be going back to
I'm so
another
proud of
Doctor
you.
Who that we didn't watch last weekend due to various technical problems with my digestive system. And so, yeah, next time we will be watching Doctor Who: The Aztecs from 1964, and that will just be Andy
Yes.
and myself. We don't want to put the Measure of the Fan guys through early Doctor Who as well.
We won't make
So-
Eliot watch that as well.
No, indeed. No, indeed. So, yes, until then, I've been Tim, and he's been... No, I
I've been
must have cut out
Andy,
again.
and these
You've been
two have
Andy.
been. I've been Andy. Yes.
Yes.
We've been enthralled. Thanks,
You are
guys.
most
See you
Thank
later.
you.
Yes, indeed. Cool. So, yes, everyone, until next week, as is usual for the Replimat, bye-bye, Duggan.
Bye-bye.
Bye.